Welcome back to my corner of the internet, guys. I am the Lucid Dream, and this video is something that I've been working on for the past couple of weeks and just picking away at it here or there because it's a topic that I really want to discuss, but it's controversial enough that I wanted to make sure that I had the right approach. The most recent Inglewood City Council meeting that was uploaded really kind of put it front and center in my to-do list, so we're going to take a look at it. First and foremost, thank you to all of my channel members and subscribers. Without you, I would not be here. So as always, every day, thank you. Let's go ahead and get into it. So first off, we're going to hear from a member of the Inglewood community, and I love what this woman has to say. I have watched this already. I find her to be very well-spoken, and I think you're going to enjoy this.
Hello, Jennifer. If you could just state your name and your address or cross streets.
Jennifer Lambert. I'm at Cherokee and Lehigh. I want to start tonight by acknowledging the fact that while I'm addressing all of council, my comments today are spurred by recent public interactions between Mayor Pro Tem, Councilmember Ward, and the self-named First Amendment auditors who have been present in our city. I want to be clear that I hold the greatest respect for both of you. And though what I have to say tonight might be hard to hear, or you might not agree with it, know that it's said in that spirit. General Charles de Gaulle once said, "Silence is the ultimate weapon of power." I'm here tonight to ask in the strongest of terms that City Council hold its silence in responding to these so-called First Amendment auditors. Their stated goal is to put governmental officials in situations where these officials might restrict their freedoms of speech and press. They claim to do this ostensibly to protect constitutional rights on behalf of all citizens. But they do not get to say that they behave the way that they do on my behalf. They do not get to co-opt my voice. So I am here tonight as a resident of Inglewood to use my voice to say that these interactions are harming our community and they need to stop. Let's talk about the First Amendment. I believe that the original intent of the freedoms of speech and press were enacted to allow each of us as free humans to stand and speak truth to power. That we might be able to say things that may be rebellious or subversive or downright revolutionary without threat from the government to our lives or our property. All of what I've heard from these auditors subjugating our city council meetings are doing none of those things. In fact, what they say is nonsense. So when city council members engage with them, whether during a city council meeting or on any other platform, you're giving them relevance and power that they do not inherently have. Freedom of speech also protects your right to speak in defense of yourself. But I would posit that you need no defending. You are currently public servants. You have been asked by the people of Inglewood to serve this community, and that role is special. It's so much bigger than the egos that you would seek to defend. I want to note here that I use the word egos in the yogic sense. The ego is a feature that all humans have. It is an identity through which we interact with the world. When you choose to accept the appointment to public service, you choose to be in service to something bigger than yourself and these identities. In this case, that purpose is the city of Inglewood. During the city council meetings that I have watched or attended, I have seen Inglewood citizens speak about myriads of legitimate concerns that warrant attention more than these auditors. When city council members give relevance and power to auditors, you remove relevance and power from Inglewood citizens that come to speak their concerns to the people they elected to represent them and their interests. Before I wrap up, I want to talk about behavior. As a student of psychology, I know that a behavior will continue as far as a behavior is rewarded. However, when seeking to extinguish a behavior by taking away the reward, there is a period of time where the behavior will escalate before it extinguishes. I imagine that when you remove the reward of your attention and engagement, that the auditor's behavior will escalate. I ask that in response you hold strong and give nothing worthwhile to post on their forums. If their behavior escalates to harassment and this harassment is verbal, then it should be ignored. I know that this aspect is hard, and at the same time it is necessary. Their verbal escalations are designed to provoke reactions. Don't give in. My ask in concrete terms is that during council meetings, your response be thank you for your concerns and nothing else. Outside of city council meetings, be bigger, be stronger, and let your silence resound.
Jennifer, thank you very much for your time tonight. Any questions for members of council? Seeing none, Jennifer, thank you again.
Thank you.
If you could please hold your applause, members of the public. Up next is Regan here to address council regarding council members and city manager.
So I absolutely love this woman, and for a couple of really good reasons. She made some great points, but the first off being that the frauditors don't speak for her. You know, for all of their screaming about we the people and how they stand up for people's rights, as soon as they come up against opposition from anyone in the general public, immediately they start calling people Karens and Darrens and tyrants because they have no other response. Ultimately, they aren't standing up for anybody but themselves and their own paychecks. So her saying, you know, you don't speak for me, I love hearing it. It's nice to hear someone outside of the anti-frauditor community stand up to these morons. Secondly, you know, ignore them and they will go away. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it is absolutely true. However, the biggest problem is it's got to be on a larger scale. While they are still able to profit from YouTube and TikTok and all that other social media that they make money off of, it's not going to happen. It's got to be on a larger scale. So even if they chose to ignore them in Inglewood, YouTube would still pay them. Those two idiots would still do what they do. It's got to be on a larger scale. Eventually, these guys are going to have to be deplatformed. And it's going to happen, just like every other stupid prank trend that has happened over the past 10 years. Eventually, people will get sick of it. And we'll start to see channels die. We already see some of it. I've seen a couple of pretty large channels that are on their last legs lately. And I'm here for it. But next up, we're going to hear Regan Benson. And wow. There is something very mentally deficient about this woman.
Hello, dearly beloved. We are gathered here tonight to get through this thing called life. Hopefully we all live through it with the jokey jokesters from the hashtag Stephen Joe Show, with special guest appearance from Sean Lewis, the city manager who's currently being ran by the employees of Inglewood's control freak factory known as the Inglewood Public Library, where you too can ban anyone from the public library and then get the cops to validate your hurt feelings over a camera by staking claim you're a victim of a camera. Hey, Sean, that was a super cute little no recording on public property administrative order thingy you tried to emulate off the good work of Devin Granberry. It was so cute. You guys like my acting? Oh my God, this is so fun. I can't wait for more. I cannot wait for you guys to demand your esteemed Inglewood PD use violence on us. Keep giggling, Joey boy.
So there's a reason I don't talk about Regan Benson very often, and it's because she is psychotic. And she annoys me so much having to listen to her. I get like Wicked Witch of the West meets escapee from the psych ward kind of vibes from her. And she makes absolutely no sense. None whatsoever. But not only that, she is so overdramatic about everything. It makes her hard to even watch to critique because she is that obnoxious.
To keep us from recording. On the topic of perpetuating and supporting violence against peaceful people, it's what is the supported climate and culture of only in America, where physically assaulting people because you don't like what they have to say is the common norm. It's more commonly known now as police violence, and it's cheered and celebrated when the police use violence on people for their speech. Don't think so? Oh yeah, it's true. Well, I have to share my lively arrest history with you next time, Joe, and you'll be so pleasantly shocked how many of my cases have ended up dismissed and how federal lawsuits against real bad actors come to light. Some people are in love with the idea of violence against women due to their spoken words. However, we are all now certainly no strangers to the ongoing victimization that the Steve and Joe show have now subscribed to with honor, and Joe's willingness to stand by his dedicated spirit of free speech to do it again on a channel that highlights violence on people with cameras. An entertainer from a foreign country, a YouTube channel that highlights violence against peaceful people, all for the sake of comedy. Did you know it's super hilarious that your friend, Frauditor Troll, in fact, and admittedly hired a guy by the name of Jeff Little to follow me? Not just follow me, but stalk me. Giggle, Joe, come on, giggle. It's funny as hell. Well, this is about to get super comedic as it gets. So if you don't like offensive language, you should leave the room now or stick your fingers deep into your ears as I cite an email that was sent to Christopher Cordova and I. It's gonna get spicy, Mayor. The email is titled Denver Police Conduct, and it comes from an email address, your 1A rights at Proton Mail. The contents of the email, and I quote, "Here's the deal. We're tired of your attitude. Come on, Joe, giggle. It's funny." Let me get back to the quote. "You and that taco nigger Cordova have with public employees for the last time. You will take down your channels or the following will happen. Number one, Regan Benson will be doxxed, including her social security number on Troll Mafia. To prove I'm looking around, and they cited my social security number, and it's the right number. Number two, they cite, I will personally murder every one of you in public, given your cunt behavior. I doubt Sheridan PD will lift a finger and a jury won't convict me." Are you guys getting those kinds of emails? Probably not, huh? Guess who's responsible for releasing all that information? Sheridan PD. And they just did it again. Less than 2 weeks ago, after your punk ass show
Ms.
on
Benson.
Christopher and myself. This is what you two perpetuate. It's what you want. You want violence on peaceful people for speech. And you're worried about Saucy? Really, Mayor? You're worried about Saucy. How hilarious is all of it? Your evidence preservation demand letter, Joe, is sitting with the clerk since you failed to acknowledge it via email, since you've interjected yourself into a criminal case that your stupid cops generated
Regan,
on
your
me.
5 minutes are up.
I'm not sure what she was trying to accomplish. My understanding is they actually wrote the email themselves. This is not the first time that this email has popped up in the Inglewood City Council. But yeah, she is unhinged. No doubt about that. So we're going to fast forward through a little bit of DMA because he spends the first roughly minute of his talking time complaining about the timer for the talking time. And I don't want anybody's brain to explode. So we're just going to fast forward through that.
But I would like to start by thanking the three ladies on my right. Ms. Prang isn't here, but I would like to thank you ladies for standing up to this bully over here. I know that takes a lot of courage to do. And Ms. Prang, I know I was teasing you a little bit last time, so thank you. But I did a public records request on Joe Anderson and Steve Ward and their emails because I wanted to see if there's anything that would link them to this troll channel. And there was no responsive records. So if that's true, that means, Joe Anderson, you're the one that reached out to them. And I say you because I'm pretty sure you're the ringleader, not Steve. And Steve, I'll be honest with you, I don't think you're an evil person. I really don't. I think that you have good intentions. I really do. I think you're misinformed and you make really poor decisions. And yeah, you piss me off a lot. But that's how I feel about this council. You guys are not as bad as Sheridan. I mean, that's not saying much because it doesn't take too much to be better than Sheridan, but you're not. Except for Joe Anderson, though. You'd fit right in with them. You are a very dark energy, low vibrational soul disguised as a pastor. And I came to that conclusion by that stupid smirk that's on your face right now, the same one that you had the entire time last time, right? Because you loved it. And I was thinking, why would he reach out to this troll channel? He knows it's going to get me back up here, but then it hit me. That's what you want, right? You love the attention. You love it. Because you're a narcissist. And narcissists love attention, whether it's good or bad. So it reminded me of a kid who gave up candy for Lent. And then finally he got to have his first lollipop. Yeah, he's back, right? So after you turned this city council meeting into a Jerry Springer show, you said, quote, they test the boundaries of what they can get away with. You can't get away with rights. You said, they try to find something that's legal, but that they can provoke a reaction from. Like Jennifer Lambert said that too, so. But that's also a narcissistic trait. You see, I don't provoke reactions. I go and I peacefully record. And if somebody else is going to get irate and then blame me, that's called blame shifting. It's a narcissistic trait. Miss Lambert, she might suffer from that too. So I absolutely do not provoke reactions. I really don't. And even if I was provoking a reaction, just for the sake of the argument, you sure as hell give me a good reaction, don't you, Joe? And I don't even want to keep coming back here. I know that's what you want. So hopefully I won't have to come back because, you know, it's very high stress to come here. It really is. And like Ms. Prang said, now we're wasting how many tax dollars on all this extra security? We had 4 officers here last time, right? Because you guys need security because you guys did something foolish. You're making a mockery of this city council, right? Not us, not Ms. Benson and I. You know, you guys are. And your colleagues see right through it. You're not fooling anyone. I don't think you're trying to fool anyone. You're just scumbag and you're happy about it. And it's really sad. I think that there is a lot of hope for a lot of these people out here. Ms. Niles, even Mr. Lewis. I mean, I'm pissed off about that administrative order. I don't know if that's going to be going through, but that's a terrible thing that you would do that. But again, I don't think you're quite as bad as Cranberry yet, but so I just wanted to put that on the record, you know, that we're not here to provoke a reaction, okay? And exercising your rights is not getting away with anything, Mr. Anderson.
Chris, your 5 minutes are up. Any questions for Chris Cordova?
I don't feel like DMA has the room to call anyone a narcissist. I feel like most of the frauditors suffer from a severe case of narcissism and really do revel in the attention. So the reason that this brought this video up to front and center was because I had been working on how I wanted to address the DMA situation when it came to the filters in public libraries, because it's something I absolutely wanted to speak on. So first, I want to play a little clip of another city council meeting where DMA tries to defend his position on removing the adult filters in the Englewood Public Library.
Good evening, Mr. Cordova. If you could just state your name and your address or cross streets.
Hi there. My name is Christopher Cordova. Just so you guys know, it's actually pronounced Cordova, not Cordova. But that's okay. A lot of people do that. Kind of depends on where you're from. So.
Yeah, thanks for the clarification.
Yeah. So we had a success. I just spoke with Mr. Lewis, and he informed me that they're going to remove the bodily hygiene out of the standards of behavior. So that's great news. And then I think he said something about personal property also was going to be readdressed. So with that said, that's a good first step. There's still several things on here that are unconstitutional, at least a couple. Specifically, clothing. Clothing is unconstitutional, and the pornography viewing, again, like I said last time, I don't condone people watching pornography, but like I said, the benefit does not outweigh the risk, and I'd be happy to clarify that in maybe another meeting, or if anyone wants to reach out to me via email, I'd be happy to explain that to you guys. So I did write Mr. Lewis an email, and I implore all of you to check out that email where I go through everything in detail of the things that we the people want either revised or removed. There's other things that need to be revised as well. Ms. Wright, I would like to thank you personally for you getting a lot of praise from my viewers, and I think you really care, and I really appreciate that. So I just wanted to throw that out there for you. So I would like to read some of the parts of the email that I wrote. I feel that there should still be a lot of these that are removed because they are unconstitutional. So again, I implore you to check those out. I go into detail with that. I just don't have time here. But the ones that should still be removed, even though there's a lack of unconstitutionality, because they do not serve to make anyone in an Inglewood City facility safer or feel more welcomed. And many of them serve as useless reiteration of laws that already exist, all of which everyone is already aware of. So a lot of these laws, even kindergartners understand that they can't commit these crimes that are listed in the standards of behavior policy. And as children even, one of the first lessons we were taught was don't hit, right? The policy states that all of these standards are supplemental to all other actions authorized by law, and law enforcement may be called, even though that's actually not true. But it's ironic because don't hit, the role that we all learned as children, is exactly what the policy threatens to do to someone who feels inclined to remain on the property after violating other of these unconstitutional rules that still exist in the policy. If the police are called and someone decides not to cooperate by leaving, what would the police do? Would they hit them? What if the victim of an oppressive city government continued to be uncooperative in their own unlawful kidnapping? Would they get punched, tased, shot, or killed? Everything the police do is backed up by force, or at least the threat of force. Otherwise, people wouldn't listen to them. So the very existence of this policy really exposes that the people who draft the policy and the people who enforce the policy are the criminals. And again, I think that we've made some good steps here, but there's more things in here that need to be gotten rid of. And the thing too is, like, the vast majority of the people that enter these buildings, they don't even know that this policy exists, but yet they don't harass people and, they don't vandalize things. Do some commit these acts? Yeah, of course they do, but they're the minority, and the people that are going to engage in those activities are going to do it regardless of the standards of behavior policy. Not to mention, people who abide by the law, they don't do that simply because they read the standards of behavior policy. So, I mean, for all of you, is that the only reason you don't commit a crime is because you read the standards of behavior policy? Well, nor is it for the reason for everyone else. So, I'm running out of time here already. So again, I just think that, there's a lot more to do. The truth is, I feel I have a duty to safeguard freedom and hold government accountable for their wrongdoing, because government oftentimes can't follow their own rules. We have to make all of these rules.
Oh, a frauditor talking about common sense. I actually feel dumber from watching that. I really do. I feel dumber from having to listen to that. It's common sense not to drink bleach either, and we still have to put do not drink on the bleach bottles. He's talking about removing common sense items from a code of conduct when, in fact, you need those common sense items in that code of conduct for idiots like the one we just saw the other day, who was screaming about that there's no sign you can't walk on the interstate. It's common sense that you can't walk on the interstate, yet he still did it because he said there's no sign. If you don't have those items in your code of conduct, you're going to have people who do them and say, well, it's not written down anywhere, so I can do it. Frauditors love signs. The fact he wants stuff taken out just means he wants reasons to be able to do things and then say, well, there's no signs. But the main reason I wanted to address it was, his whole stance about removing the filters to filter out adult materials in libraries is absolutely ridiculous because the Supreme Court has already ruled. In 2023, in the United States versus the American Library Association, the Supreme Court ruled that internet filters do not equate to a constitutional violation under the First Amendment. You are not entitled to adult material in a library. So I'm not sure why he's chosen this as his battlefield, but the Supreme Court has ruled on it, and it's pretty specific. I don't know if he doesn't want to pay for his own subscription. I mean, he's missing his Nicholas Sins or Jenna Jameson or whoever it is that he's a fan of, but it seems like a rather strange battlefield. But then again, frauditors rarely make sense. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you want to see, and I will catch you on the next one.